Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile, Scourge League 3.16. In this episode, I have my new league starter for 3.16, so this is our skeleton summoner build, witch, necromancer, completely insane. This is 1.5 times stronger than my last league starter, the skeleton build. We made it stronger with the skill tree, the masteries. This is so bonkers. So let me show you. We have 271,000 DPS per skeleton, 9 skeletons. So down here, 2.3 with the skeletons, and then 272 with the zombies, and 38k with the carrion golem, and we have some specters, but they don't do anything. And then 2.6 million total, and that's the AoE damage. That's with melee splash and a bunch of AoE, more AoE than last season actually, and they have more minion survivability because they have actually 83 elemental res, and 73 chaos res instead of only having 50 something, 58 or whatever. And then they also have the extra shield higher, and then you can take ruthless instead of melee splash. They go up 900,000 full DPS, so they go to 3.5 3.6 million full DPS, 3.2 with just the skeletons. And this isn't counting Val summon skeletons, this is just skeletons, and this isn't counting a 21, this is just a 20. Yep, absolutely bonkers. I love this build. I hope you guys enjoy the league starter build guide where I go through everything. I'll go through all the leveling, the items, the skill tree. I have all the breakdown of all the passive points, even with the new skill tree, all the masteries in order. I carry them throughout all the trees so you can see it. I have my ascendancy, everything perfect. I hope you guys enjoy, and this is a great video. I put a lot of effort in. Hope you guys enjoy this league starter, and this should set you up for the 3.16 Scourge League. Can this build get 100 likes for the Scourge League? Alright, I want to go through the leveling tree now, so we'll start from the beginning. 12 points. I talked about this in my previous video about how I was going through the passive tree and comparing it to the old tree, and how I like the new one compared to the old one, etc., and the points. I had already made my league starter, but I didn't show it because, well, we were building to this point. So here we go. The first 12 points are exactly the same. They changed it a little bit. This is a 5 life, 10 damage. This is a 5 life, 10 damage. They changed how you get it. Like, it's built a bit different, but then it's all the same for the first 12. Yeah, like I said in the video. But then in the next 5, you get Enduring Bond, where it would take 6 before, and this is 50 minion damage and 40 minion duration, which is disgusting. Instead of getting the refresh SRS, and like, it doesn't even matter. I go skeletons, so this is just better. We lost 4% attack speed, but we lose. We don't have to take the whole extra node to travel there. And then I'll show you guys already the first tech, and I mean, like, this is the, oh my god, I already got to get spicy with it. Okay, I figured out that at level, well, at 17 points into my skill tree, so the first 12 and then these 5, the next one going 18 points of my 24, I should do this mastery for minion accuracy, because at a very early level, when my skeletons are like level 2 or 3, which is the item level, like me using it level like 12 or 14, they actually have like very low accuracy, and just adding this 200 accuracy doubled their damage at that level to like normal monsters. I even put my level to the right level so it would hopefully calculate the right defense, and as I scaled it up, I started to notice they were becoming inaccurate again, and this little bit 200 was actually helping, and it stopped helping. Okay, this is where it's only useful up to level 40, so you'll have to unspec this and spec a new mastery at level 40. But in the beginning, it's very powerful, and there's all these people complaining that minions are worse and blah blah blah, and they're actually better early. 1 less point to get your Enduring Bond. It's the same as before, it's better. And then we have the mastery, so this is even better. And then they also made Enduring Bond, Endom Army and all these other nodes closer, and it's all different. So now let's get into it. So then I figured out that, well, I have a buttload of damage. Like, you can look at it this way. I have a buttload of damage. And then the next closest damage was this 15 minion damage or the spiritual command. So it's really far. That's just like our old tree, actually. And so I figured out that in the past I would go Sacrifice. I would rush over to Sacrifice and get the Minion LE res 10% and the Minion regen. So instead, I went right, and because we have Indom Army right here, it's 23 Minion LE res, physical damage reduction, and then you can do the Mastery in the first 24 points. And they gave us a defense mastery for Leech, which is nowhere else on the skill tree. They took away the Leech on the Death Attunement, and they took away the Leech on the Sacrifice. So I took the Leech on the defense mastery on the Indom Army. And so in 24 points, our minions aren't dying, and they are doing more damage than before. This sounds insane to me. I absolutely love the start of the 3.16 summoner. This is gonna be in bonkers. Now we continue 36. I was able to get quick recovery here. So quick recovery, they actually buffed it with 1% extra max life on it, and then we get life mastery, which is just a flat 50 life. What? Then we can get sacrifice, and so we may have lost the Minion LE res 10%. They made Indom Army closer, so that's already good. And then we get an extra 1.5 regen node instead of the 6.6 leech, which is, I think, better. I liked the regen from Death Attunement up here, 1.5. So now we just have it for free, and we don't have to take the extra pathing, so we actually save 1 point, because I didn't want the leech from here, and we get the leech for free from the mastery that we kind of need just for the early minion survival. And we could respec this, now that we have the minion regen, to a different mastery, but I kept it as leech for like the whole time, just because, well, we can't actually play with the stuff. I can only make what I think is the best with everything we've done from the past. So then we get the extra 15 minion damage. I decided to not get spiritual command here for 3 points. I'll show you what I do next. So 48, we get our first lab. So this is already getting interesting. So mindless aggression like normal, nothing changes with that. They didn't change the ascendancies, but already we go down, get discipline and training. It's a fat life node. Dude, this thing bigger than Constitution. Heart of the Warrior, bigger than Constitution. Everything's bigger than Constitution. Okay, so you come down here and you're like, dude, should I still get Grave Pact? It's like 12 minion damage, 12 minion damage, 12 minion. Yo, that's huge. And the accuracy, so that then you don't need this accuracy. Ooh, what is that? And so like I said, I've carried the masteries throughout. So accuracy all the way to 36 points, life 36 points, and we have the leech. And then at 48 points, I've actually changed them. You have to do this on every single new page, by the way. I changed this to overwhelming the physical damage reduction by 20% instead of the accuracy, because now we have the percent accuracy and they have so much flat. They're so I was talking about around level 40. It's because of Grave Pact. This is the accuracy area that I'm getting that gives it to me. I think they took away the accuracy from this, but yeah, it's fat, huge amounts of accuracy, and then you have the 6% chance to deal double damage. I love this node, and I love all the 12% damage. And then I noticed this, I mentioned in the video when I was going over all the stuff on the skill tree. The only thing I left out in the video was the sacrifice missing the LE res, but like I mentioned, they actually buffed this node with the minion regen, and they moved the Indom Army, which overall buffs the elemental res, and they changed the Grave Intentions thing, which buffs the chaos and the elemental res. So like it's just different. It's just different. It's really powerful. So they buffed the Templar start to 10 minion damage, which I think is just good. So I took 30. Like, it's just good. That's just good. So then we path up, and we're going for our Death Attunement, even though they nerfed it. We get Cruel Lab. We get those 2 levels from a natural strength. We get our Death Attunement. We get our Fearsome Force, which is just area, which in this build, technically, when you go the single target setup without the melee splash, it's kind of useless. There is some AoE on skeletons and zombie. Like, it works kind of, because they're strike, and the strike is an AoE, and the way it like AoEs off of targets, and then yeah, but when you go Ruthless, you don't have the melee splash, so technically the Fearsome Force is worse, but the Fearsome Force with the melee splash feels so good in clearing, especially this is 11% increased area of effect from before, so actually it's more, so it's going to feel even better for the area, which is why I took it before. So I am in love with this node. And then we can also take the new Purity of Flesh, which is a fat amount of life, and then it also gives some energy shield, and we might have some energy shield if you decide to build some energy shield gear, like armor energy shield hybrid bases, so that you can color your gear easier, because it's easy. The socket colors are based on the attributes, so strength is red sockets, and intelligence is blue sockets, so keep that in mind when trying to roll your gear. And then we have, yeah, it's actually just a decent wheel in general. And then I was able to take Vitality, has 100% increased mana reservation efficiency. So we've been running Vitality, but it starts to get more, and I wanted to reduce its cost. So that should be huge, as it says 12% unreserved mana saved, 117 mana from that. What the heck? And I didn't show this one, but when I took the Grave Pact, I took increased effective offering 20, and then this one was changed to the overwhelm physical damage reduction. And was it on this one? No, on 60 points, I decided to take 72. It could have been 60 though, but on 72, I took this one, which was Minion max all res 8%. So because I figured out that they gave us this. So the 23 from here, plus this 20 LE res is 43. And so zombies have 40, so they'll go to 83. They'll be 8 over cap, and so you take this, and it's 83, and they have the cap from the skill tree. They did it on purpose. It was built in, easy clap. Oh, and then, yeah, Purity of Flesh, and Cruel Lab for the unnatural strength. Now at 84. I went, this part's real fun. You can get Sovereignty. So they changed this. They changed that. And then they also gave us a Mastery for increased mana reservation efficiency of skills. So 15%, that's insane. And then you can go Righteous Army still. And they just move the life to here, basically. And it's similar to what it was before. Still pretty good. There's a bug right now where you... Oh, they fixed it. You could path through the Mastery, and it was 2 points, but they fixed it now. It shows that you have to path around, so I don't really like it because it's just attack speed. Yeah, it's interesting though. And then I went Purity of Flesh. No, sorry, this is Cruel Prep. Yeah, we went up and got Cruel Prep with the all res. Yeah. Okay, next 96. Got the extra life points. So what I found is they actually buff these travel nodes of life to 6%. That's crazy, from 5%. And then they also buff these to 5% from 4%, but you lost the chaos res obviously. But it's pretty cool having the extra life. And then yeah, 10% life with the chaos res. It's pretty crazy. And then I pathed down and I got combat stamina, which is an armor mastery. So that was kind of cool. So I could pick one of those. I got, it's similar to before, and then armor master I could get reduced extra damage from crit strikes. There was also armor while affected by a guard skill, which I think works really well with the immortal call. And then there's also chance to defend with double armor, or if I run a determination I could do this, but I went with the reduced crit. I think it's the most consistent. And then all of this, like I said, I figured out that Heart of the Warrior is better than Constitution. Basically, to explain, it's 10 strength extra. It's just the same exact node, but 10 extra strength, and it's the same distance. And then the pathing, you have the travel node 5% life, same thing, but instead of strength, you get 20 strength and 4% attack speed, and then the tenant. So it's the same amount. It's the same. It's better. It's just better to go to this. And then I'm down here instead of being in the middle where I have nothing. Here I get my, I'll show you the next part. Let's just continue. 108 and Merc. So the lab I went for Commander of Darkness, so it'll be easier res cap. Also minions. Finish off that, but let me go down here. I got the Heart of the Warrior for the regen and strength. Then we have all this extra life and armor. Sick. So much extra increased armor from the skill tree on this build. It's not useless. Like a few thousand, they said, is actually insane now. And then something else I figured out was, at this point, I saw, oh my god, I should take Spiritual Command because I'm out of things to take for damage and I want a little bit more at this point. And so I took Spiritual Command, and then I noticed, oh, it's only 2 points to get up to thing, and I get 4% attack speed instead of Tenant. I like that. So I took away the 2 points, I refunded. So just spend 2 points here, basically. After you take Spiritual Command, refund 2 points, put 2 points, and then you can respec this. And that's all it is. You can't do this earlier unless you do the Spiritual Command. And just to show you, you would have to do Spiritual Command all the way back here before you go up. So at 48 instead of 96. Like going to 108. Like it's a massive difference. Where this is rushing Spiritual Command instead of rushing all of this. Where I think the priority is getting here instead of the Spiritual Command. Yeah. That's my point. And then I filled out the rest of the Indom Army and the Grave Intention, so the extra Chaos Res and the ES, and then the extra Physical Damage Reduction and Life. Just filling everything out. And then just making sure I didn't miss anything. I did the Mastery, good. I mean the Ascendancy, I said. And then we had... yeah, so then I spent 6 points. I pathed to a Ravenous Horde, just like the Spiritual Command. I was like, man, I kind of want a little bit more, and so I actually pathed it. And I noticed that you can spec your minions have Onslaught on the skill tree, so that's pretty cool. And I thought with the 30%, it's actually stronger for skeletons because they'll have a higher chance that they'll actually get Onslaught and use it, and it won't be a waste. Instead of it being such a low chance, they buffed it quite a lot, right? It's a pretty significant buff, so yeah, that's what I did. And then I picked a few of the jewel sockets that are only 2 passive points. It's really cheap jewel sockets, and in the jewel sockets I put life minion damage taunt, life minion damage blind, and life minion damage. And then we have a life minion damage. It's just to show generic shit. Now I'll go through the items. I never showed it. My Uber lab is Plaguebringer. And I did this because they destroyed Bone Offering, and I don't really need the Flesh Offering to affect me. I could get the increased duration, sure, but whatever. And then the Bone Barrier, I could run that for the physical damage reduction and the recovery and the minion life. But also the extra damage from Plaguebringer is pretty strong, and the area of effect. So yeah, with the area of effect buffs, kind of cool to stack it. And I tried this with Reaper, and I really liked it. It grew on me because of the Reaper. Okay, now let's get into the skill gems. So we have in order of leveling, when you get them, and how you link them, and what you replace, and everything, all the way up to Act 6, where you get all the gems. And then I also have all the endgame links at maps to simulate the maps for this build that I'll be playing probably for the first few days as my league starter to farm up buttloads of Exalted Orbs, you'll see. Purifying Flame level 1 gets you Consecrated Ground. They actually buffed this where I think it gives us 50% reduced effective curses when we're on the Consecrated Ground, but then I think that we only get 5% regen instead of 6% regen. And then Zombie at level 1, so you have to buy one of these, pick one from the quest. And then level 4, we get Phantasm, so we can link the Phantasm to raise Zombie, Raging Spirit. We also get at level 4, and then we can link it to Phantasm. Holy Flame Totem, where you can link to Phantasm, and then Frostblink. So really you only need to put the Phantasm on one of these, and so the Summon Raging Spirit with the Phantasm is good enough. Yeah. Then you have the Summon Raging Spirit at level 8 gets melee splash and minion damage, so you get a 3-link. Easy. Zombie gets minion damage, so you can 3-link Zombie, Phantasm, minion damage. We don't have room for the Phantasm on the Raging Spirit anymore. On Brutus, the Act 1 boss guy, you can go and use the Phantasm on your Raging Spirit instead. So the 3-link of blue you can swap the Raging Spirit into the zombie instead, because the zombies won't live against Brutus, and then you can have an extra Phantasm instead of the melee splash that's useless on the boss. So that's a quick heads up for the level 8 before you get skellies. It's right before you get skeletons, and then at level 10, hey, you get skeletons. You can drop Frostblink and summon Raging Spirit because you get Flame Dash, a better dash ability, and then you have Val Summon Skeletons. I like it better than the Summon Raging Spirit because of physical instead of fire, and then also they you can summon multiple, and then you can also get Vitality at level 10. At level 12, we're going to get that Spirit Offering. The reason I go for Spirit Offering early instead of Flesh Offering is you can actually use the extra elemental res for your minions and the chaos res, and the stat phys as extra chaos 20% is basically the same amount of damage as the Flesh Offering with 20 attack speed. I've done a lot of playtesting with it before, and so you can use this before you run Brutality, and you get Brutality at level 38, so at level 12 you can use Spirit Offering, and so this is a similar damage boost to Flesh Offering without the move speed, but it also has the minion survivability, which is nice because of the early game of our skill tree. First 12 points, no minion elemental res. The next has some elemental res, but that's after like 24 points, you see what I'm saying? So the Spirit Offering can be a nice band-aid in the early thing with the Vitality. Then at level 16 we get the Desecrate to make corpses for the Spirit Offering. Keep it level 1, you don't need to level it up, and it doesn't raise the dex requirement. We don't have a lot of dex in the build at the end. When we go all the way to the end, I'll go back to show you. We have 68. You could build more, but this is just showing you what I had for free. Skitterbots, level 1 at 16. You can also link this to Unbound Ailments already. I think you get Unbound Ailments at level 4. It increases the effect of the Chill and Shock. At level 18, you get Val Summon Skelly with melee physical damage. So you get a 4-link, and you add melee physical damage. You've been using a 3-link this whole time with melee splash minion damage. Val Summon Skelly. And your zombie, you now get minion life at 18, so you use minion life instead of the minion damage, because you don't actually need the zombies to do damage. They're there as a meat shield to block and get aggro for you, and then summon phantasms that do the same thing. And then they also have more life, which is sick. So I did vulnerability at level 24 instead this time, instead of using enfeeble. In the past, I would get enfeeble at 24. This time, 28, we can get Spectre with life tap. So it's cool that life tap's only a requirement of 8. In the past, I would delay the Spectre to 31 because Blood Magic was 31, but because they separated it into the two things, the life tap and the Arrogance, yeah, you can actually get life tap, and I think Arrogance is actually a higher level, 31. So it's cool that they separated it, and you can utilize this, and that's the benefit of life tap. 31, you get Generosity, so we can run War Banner Generosity. You can get War Banner from the library. Ray Zombie with Feeding Frenzy is the bonus we show here. You can get 4-link it, and you can get Feeding Frenzy, so this is a pretty big boost if you wanted to go to the library and go unlock this. You get it as the quest reward. You don't have to do this. This is just a side thing that you could do for extra power. 34, Carrion Golem. Now you could link it with the Feeding Frenzy and the Mim. At 38, you drop Spirit Offering because you don't need it anymore, because I'll show you. By 36 and then 48, you already have all this minion elemental res. You'll have the Vitality, you have the 23 minion res here. You're already looking really good, and then you're already capped by 60 points. Yeah, I'll be going through that separately. I probably did that first, but yeah. Okay, so then at 38, this is when we're at Act 6, and you unlock all the gems, because you've done that thing where you freed her, and you drop Spirit Offering, and you go Flesh Offering now. Your 6th link becomes this. Obviously, you won't have you most likely wouldn't have a 6th link right away, unless you have a Tabula Rasa. I've had it where 90% of my league starts, I've started with a Tabula Rasa, because I actually play the league mechanic in the leveling, and I take my time and I enjoy it, and it's because it's for the experience, not about rushing through the league mechanic and skipping it. And so I usually have like a tabula and stuff, so maybe I'll be able to utilize this. The mana cost is relevant, so that's a thing to keep in mind in our end game build. So 120 points and our 6 link skellies, it's only 64 mana and we have 200, so it's not that bad. That's on a 6 link. You could summon it multiple times, so you don't even need to, because you can summon I think 2 to 3 in one cast. Oh, that's the low level one, so I have to show this one. I can summon 4 skeletons per cast to level 20 skeletons, so that's insane. And so continue at my act 6, you get this. Also, for single target, technically you can switch out melee splash for ruthless. I didn't show it in this part, but I showed in my end part. Can I take this down? No. Let's do this. And this is beneficial. Yeah, you can increase the single target for bosses just by switching a red gem to ruthless. That's pretty cool. Spectre with minion life, life tap, and zombie. So then we can start to combine the links to save space. But you have to get a 4 link and the colors and all that, and it gets a little bit harder. You could utilize an energy shield armor base in the beginning to get the colors easier. I used a cast when damage taken, a mortal call on the weapon, a flame dash, carry on golem, feeding frenzy maim. This is the link I was talking about, and the carry on golem at 34, but now I show it further at 38, literally 4 levels later in the weapon. Skitterbots with unbound ailments. This is what I was talking about. You get this at level 8, but it doesn't matter. You get this before you get skitterbots, technically, and then you could go back and get it in the beginning. Yeah, you don't. It depends on your gem space. War Banner Generosity, very cool, in the glove. And then Arcanist Brand. So I found in the past that to cast all of these can be too tedious, to where you use basically like 1 or 2 at max. It's like really, but I had started to use this near the end with my Reaper build, and I found it to be really nice quality of life. So I want to try to use this in my build and see how it feels. I think for at least the flesh offering, it could be nice, because it saves me 1 button, right? It's 1 less button. I'll have the mana for it too, and then hopefully it's good at automatically casting the vulnerability, and it doesn't cost too much mana. Hopefully that's the only other concern. I have a decent amount of mana, so I hope so, because the mana changes were actually significant. Like, we're running skitterbots with the unbound ailments, war banner generosity, and we're running pride, vitality. That's a lot of auras, dude. What the heck is going on? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, I could just drop vitality after I usually do, because of our gear and stuff. And so think about the mana reserve that we have in the build. Like, we could fit flesh and stone, especially with the lowering the cost of the flesh and stone, but they also lowered the power. So I put pride in the ring, and then vitality in the other ring, and then the 6th link. These are the endgame links when you hit maps. It's all the same with level 20 basically. It's pretty much all the same. Yeah, but they're level 20 and then simulated here. And so we have 2.6 million with the minions, and that's without not even talking about Val Skelly. I didn't show Val Skelly throughout here because in the past I've debated a lot of people with it, so I'm going to add it as a special note on the side, and I will show that you should go Val Skelly, but that's going to be its side thing. And then yeah, so I wanted to show 2.6. I have this Ruthless in the main 6 link to show that you can switch it. I will probably switch this on mapping when I start pushing the higher tiers. For example, T11 to like red maps. When I'm pushing into red maps, I'm going to start to feel the DPS loss because, well, it's just that you need more damage. And I won't, well, if I can just, look at this. Take out the melee splash, lose no damage, right? Because it's just AoE. It actually is no multiplier. It's just AoE. It's for clear. And then Ruthless. Boom. Wow. 3.2 from 2.3. So our League Starter can pump out some crazy damage. And I wanted to show that earlier, but yeah, that's our whole setup. That's our leveling. It's super simple, super smooth. Minions all the way through. It's just summoning skeletons on packs and everything dies instantly, and it's 1.5 times more damage than last league. More powerful, similar life. I just have less life on the gear, so it could have more. And then I've made specific stuff on the gear. I'll go through the gear after. But yeah, thank you for listening to the skills. I hope that helps anyone trying to follow the path of building. Okay, let's go through the gear I put together. So, like I said, those jewels were what I showed is what could be available. You could get a little bit more taunt, a little bit more blind. That's the mod I would go for damage. You could go minion attack speed if they've killed recently. That's possible too. And then on the wands, this time I've actually shown how I get this mod instead of just putting it there and people go, "Hey, how you get that?" Minion damage on the wand. So the green mod is from a Deafening Essence of Fear. I even put it in the POB so people will be able to see it. These are very cheap early on because they drop from the league mechanic usually, or even you get to early mapping, and Essence is PogChamp, it's easy clap. And then Deafening Essence of Fear is like 1C early and so much power. The people are talking about all this minion damage missing from the skill tree. Well, when you are used to just building 130 minion damage on your weapons like this, it's pretty good. You don't even feel it. What missing damage? So then we continue. Just went to cap the reses, so we have capped elemental and chaos res, and I just show you how I an option of a way to do it. Endurance charges give you 4% all elemental res per, so I have 3 endurance charges, so that's 12% elemental res. I just want to throw that one out there. I also have an astral play, which is 12% elemental res, and then I like to go for the chaos res on potentially the glove, the helmet, and the hybrid crafts. So I like to do these crafts from June unveiling, and they said that they made June unveiling easier this season, so you only have to unveil one time to get a mod instead of having to unveil 2, 3, 4, etc. It should be instant, fast, ridiculous, so I'm expecting to be able to get these a lot easier. And then, yeah, hybrid crafts makes it so easy to cap your chaos res for cheap, because you don't have to worry about the gear having base chaos res. Then elemental res is actually easy to find across the gear. And that's the gear that I have. I went a Side Vice so I could get an extra Ghastly Jewel, and we go Unset Ring so we can fit the stuff, and I go a Citron Amulet so it has strength and dexterity, because you can see that I have issues with strength and dex. On one of the items, the helmet, I crafted strength. She needed an open suffix. The chest plate, my recommendation, this is the first 2 things I like to go for on my league starter is wands with the Deafening Essence of Fear. You can go for the lower tiers of Essence of Fear as well, Screaming, Shrieking, etc. I'm just mentioning the Deafening as the top tier. I like to go for this, and my other thing is I like to invest in a 6-link chest plate. Doesn't have to be an astral plate, but this is like best case scenario. And so you get a 6-link with 2 blue, 4 red. You could also technically get the 1 color craft from Delving. I don't know. I actually don't know if it's still in Delving, but because they changed it, right, this season. The things not being in Delve anymore, and they're in maps. But either way, you could use the 1 color craft on the thing for like 4 chrome and 4 val and pray. I don't recommend that. You could just buy one. But if there aren't any, then and it's like 10C higher, then you could actually only spend 4 Val Orbs and 4 Chrome and try to do it yourself if you have the craft. Or if somebody you know has the craft, you can do it on a corrupted chestplate. That's what I'm saying. And then there's even maybe some potential for Scourge to be able to modify modify corrupted items. Yeah. Nice. That's gone over everything. For all the bases, I've prioritized armor bases, but like I said in the video throughout, you could go armor energy shield to make getting the colors easier. For example, an armor energy shield chestplate would probably be easier to get 2 blue, 4 red than for full strength getting 2 blue, right? And if you had to get for the helmet this like 3 blue, I think like something like a bone helmet is going to be easier, but you can't get a bone helmet till maps, so that's why I didn't mention it. And then instead, yeah, you could just go like any armor energy shield helmet to get the 3 blue easier. It's really cool though. I'm really happy with my skeleton build. It's 1.5 times stronger than the last season. Has a little bit less life, like I said, but it's just because I put less life on the gear this time, less requirements potentially, and it's bonkers. It's sick. I'm so excited to play this. Now let's go through the flasks. We have I put a divine life flask as a start with a bubbling and staunching. So we have increased recovery rate and instant recovery rate. Half of it applied instantly. So I feel like this could be a cool one to use because they buffed the recovery rate over time, and they didn't actually really nerf the instant. So this is like the best of both worlds. You have the instant and you have some recovery, and then they buff the recovery by what, 2 times or something. So this should be really strong. The other one is only instant and gives up 66%, so I didn't want to do that one. And then still bleeding, they buffed it, I think, right? Then I did Quartz Flask for the phasing, because we're not using phase run, and you can do a Quartz Flask with phasing. And then I did increased duration on all these flasks after this for all the utility. I like increased duration for the new flasks. And then we have increased armor. These aren't specific, they don't matter. They don't have to be on the each one, like this specific one. Granite Flask with duration, and then shock immune. So technically the quartz could have shock immune, granite could have armor, jade could have ignite. And then this has duration. And then we have Quicksilver, duration with move speed. I think they buffed move speed in the new season so you can get higher tiers, but it has to have a higher tier of base Quicksilver Flask to be able to roll the higher tier of move speed. And it's not in POB yet, so I can't show that. And this is a League Starter, so why do I talk about like an item level 84 Quicksilver Flask for the extra 20% move? Like, what? Either way, nice. I added in this note here. Spectres are 2 Carnage Chieftains from Old Fields, Act 2, and 1 Host Chieftain from Ashen Fields, Act 7. You can also get the Carnage Chieftains from Ashen Fields, Act 7, but technically, if you wanted to get it sooner, like when you were at level 28, like my guide says, then you could get it from Act 2.